Ah, that new cabin smell. Everybody loves it. It's sort of like a new car smell. And just like a new car, you just got to get your new car set up just right when you get it. You got to do the same thing with your cabin. Stay tuned. Hi everyone, Rock from Cruise Seekers, and today we are going to talk about everything you are going to need to do to set up your cabin just right so you can have your perfect cruise vacation. It's sort of like setting the roadmap, setting the template, setting everything perfectly so that you can have a very nice, relaxing space for your cruise after all the excitement that you've had during the day on a sea day, or to relax after a busy port day. These are the things that I love to do when I get access to my room when we get on the ship. It's probably one of the most exciting times on the ship when you get that announcement that the cabins are ready. Well, I can't wait to get to my room and get it set up so that I can really start my vacation on the right foot. But before I get into all those things that I do, I would like to thank everybody who has become a member of this Cruise Seekers community. Thank you so much for doing it. It's so important to us. It helps me understand exactly what kind of content you like, and it does really help this channel. Now, if you haven't become a member of this Cruise Seekers community just yet, think about subscribing and turn that notification bell on. It's free to you. I promise we won't charge you a dime, and I'm sure you will love being part of this community. Thank you so much for doing that. It's very appreciated. And while you're down there, hit that like button. It really does help that YouTube algorithm. It really will help other people find these great tips on what to do when you get access to your cabin. So now let's get into those little things that I like to do when I get into my cabin for the very first time. It will make your life a lot easier on your very next cruise. The very first thing I do when I get into my cabin is I find where the air conditioning control unit is and I turn it all the way down. This is mainly for my wife. My wife likes a cold room. I like it a little warmer. She likes it like Arctic cold. So yeah, I get a little icicles kind of rolling down my nose, but it's something I deal with. But it is what we have to do. I have to turn that air conditioning unit all the way down for her. But just locate that thing first, get it to the temperature you're going to prefer, and have that taken care of right away. Because then when you get back to your room, it's going to be at the temperature you like and you don't have to worry about it again. Set it and forget it. Now, the next thing I like to do is find where you have your master control to control all the electricity in your room. Usually you will have to put your key card in there to make sure you have power to your room. Now, me personally, if I put my key card in there, I will forget it every single time I leave the room. My mind just does not work that way. This is something I just don't habitually do like on my day-to-day. So if I use my key card there, I am guaranteed to forget it in the room and then lock myself out of the room. Now, what I do to kind of combat this is I bring with me all the time onto my cruise one of two things. It's either a completely empty old gift card and I put it in my wallet and I use that for the purpose of putting it into that area. This way, if I leave it there and I forget it when I leave the cruise, it's no big deal. It's a $0 balance gift card. So yeah, it's a great thing to use. Also, sometimes, if you might have maybe an old like sign and sail card from another cruise, you can use that too. Put that in there. That might even have the added benefit of being, a little bit more tricky with the cruise line, especially if the cruise line's requiring you to have a sign and sail card in there. Some of them are doing that right now. Now, I don't know if this trick of putting an old one in there might work if it's the same cruise line. Who knows? But you know what? It's still better than putting my regular key card in there unless they force me to. Because you don't want to put anything of value in there. You don't want to put like a real credit card in there because you might just leave it after the cruise. You don't want to put your Costco card in there because, if you put your Costco card in there, you're not going to remember it and you're going to have to get a new one when you go back to Costco. So yeah, either a completely empty gift card, that's my preferred one, or maybe even an old sign and sail card from a previous cruise, because that might just end around the system and might actually work if they require a sign and sail card in that little slot. Can't guarantee that will work, but it's just a thought I had. Maybe it might work. Now that you have your wallet out because you had to take out that gift card to put into that slot to keep all the electricity running in your room, the best thing to do now is find that safe and put your wallet in there, along with your passports, along with any other important documents, along with any valuables you might have with you in your carry-on luggage. put them all into the safe right then and there. I can't tell you the amount of times I wind up in the main dining room on the first night and I realize, oh, I still have my wallet in my pocket. I don't need this. And it's just like a nuisance. And you just realize that, why didn't I just leave it in the safe? So just do that immediately. Put it in a safe, get it there. You know where it is all the time. This way, when you leave the cruise and it's over, the vacation's over, you know exactly where your wallet is. Also, if you happen to drive to the cruise port, or if you have your keys from your home with you, put them in the safe too. It's one central location of things that you're never going to need on the ship, that you're going to just need to know where they are when you get off the ship. The safe is the perfect place for those things. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do is take a picture of your stateroom when you get there, because you know what? This is the only time the stateroom is going to look like that. After your luggage comes in, after you've been living in there for a week, it's never going to look the same way, all set up right from the cabin steward, ready for your vacation. It's just not going to look like that ever again. So take your picture then, take your video then. This is not just for bloggers. This is not just for YouTubers. This is for everybody who just likes taking memory pictures, making memory videos so that they can recall what it was like when they were on that trip. This is for everyone. Because I'm telling you again, it's never going to look the same way, that room, after you've been living in it for a little bit of time. The next thing I like to do is what I call the once over. I kind of check the little things that I know I need to make sure are just working and to my liking. First thing I make sure is the TV working? Does it turn on? Can I change the channels? I've been in rooms where either the remote needs a new battery or the TV won't turn on, and I need to let someone know. Also, I make sure that the phone works. I pick it up. Do I hear a tone? Is it working? That's another thing. There's nothing worse than getting to your room and using the phone for the first time and you get no signal and you want room service. It's just horrible for that to happen. So make sure those two electronic things that the cruise line provides work. The next thing I take a look at is the mini fridge. I open it up, see if it's kind of cool in there, making sure that it will keep things cool inside. I also notice if they leave anything in there for purchase. If they do have anything in there for purchase, I make a mental note to let the cabin steward know to please remove all those things. I don't need to be tempted by those things. And I also usually want some space to kind of put either some leftover like cake or maybe, a nice couple drinks in there for later on that I might bring up from the bar. That's just my space that I want to use to keep things cool. So if there's anything in there with the mini bar setup, I just ask the cabin steward to get rid of it on the first day. The next thing I do is I get on the bed and I have my wife get on the bed to check out if the firmness of that bed is to our liking, because sometimes those things are a little bit of a plank and I don't like a hard bed. Neither does my wife. So we make sure that the bed is to our liking, that it's the right firmness for us. If it's not, we usually let the cabin steward know to get us an egg crate. If they don't have egg crates, they usually add some extra padding by putting some extra comforters on there. They do a really good job to make sure your bed is the way you like it. Also, check out the pillow. If that's not the type of pillow you like, even though you might not be in like a concierge class or a suite, there's tons of pillows out there, and the cabin steward wants to make your vacation perfect, and they will try to find a pillow that is more to your liking. And then I finally go into the bathroom and I make sure there's enough towels in there. Sometimes they're very, very stingy with the number of towels they put in there. I'm a big guy. Sometimes I might need a little bit more towels than the normal person. So if they're just kind of light on the towels, I ask them to always bring extra towels. I just kind of make a survey to see what's the standard setup. Now, the last thing I like to do when I get to my cabin is to introduce myself to my cabin steward. This is where I get to let them know exactly any of the little things that I might have found that I need. Do I need some extra softening of my bed? Do I need extra pillows? Do I need extra towels? Do I need a bucket of ice for the evening if I want to cool down my bottled water? Do I need a extension cord for my CPAP or maybe a bottle of distilled water? Those are the type of things I want to try to get taken care of at that time. Now, the cabin steward might also need some information from you. They might need to know exactly when you would like to have your room cleaned. Some cruise lines nowadays just have one time for service. So they might need to know exactly when would you like to have that service done. And you also get to exchange names. They'll get to know your name. You'll get to know their name. And this way, when you're walking down the hallway and you see each other, you'll be able to greet each other by name. It's one of those little service features that I love about cruising that you just don't see anywhere else. Those cabin stewards do a phenomenal job to make your vacation so special. They're such great people and they do such a wonderful job. It's always great to get to know your cabin steward. Now, just remember, don't monopolize their time during this first day. It's one of their busiest days. Just make sure you get the things that you need to get taken care of, talked about. Make sure that they're able to get those pieces of information that they need to know on the first day taken care of. Exchange those names and let them go about their work. Now, this last tip is dependent upon one fact. Did your luggage show up when you get to go to your cabin for the first time? If it's there, get unpacked. Do that after you take your video and your picture, but get unpacked. Get those clothes that can wrinkle out of those pieces of luggage so that they're hanging up and they don't get to wrinkle too bad. It's also just a nice way to know that, you know what, you're in your room, your vacation is ready to go, and you don't have to worry about unpacking anymore. I usually unpack first. I get all my stuff hanging up and put away where they need to go. And then my wife kicks me out of the room so she can then take over the rest of the room to put all her other stuff, because she's the heavy packer, all over. I try to put myself in little corners and little cubby holes, and then she takes over the rest of the room. I got to teach her how to not pack as heavy, but I don't think it's ever going to work. It's not going to work. It hasn't worked for 27 years. I don't think it's going to work. So there you go, folks. Those are my tips on what you need to do when you get to your room for the very, very first time on your next cruise. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hey, give it a big thumbs up. It really does help the YouTube algorithm. It does help other people find this channel. It does help other people learn about how to get their room set up when they go on their cruise. And one more time, if you're not a member of this Cruise Seekers community, think about subscribing and turn that notification bell on. It will mean the world to us. And I promise you, it will not cost you a penny. It will not cost you a cent. Give it a try. See if you like it. Hit that subscribe button. Turn that notification bell on. Thank you so much for doing that. If you have your own little tricks and tips that you would like to let other people know what you do when you get to your cabin for the very first time, and I missed it in this video, leave them in the comments down below. I would love to hear what you do when you get to your cabin. I know a lot of people love to wipe down all the surfaces. It's something I don't do, but I know a lot of people like to do it. I'm sure there's other things that people do that I would just love to hear about it. We love comments, and we always engage with everyone in the comment section. So until we talk again next time, this is Rob from Cruise Seekers reminding each and every one of you to always seek the seas. Bye now.